It was the last day of school in 1976, a time they'd never forget. If only they could remember. This is the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 65, Dazed and Confused.
Spotlight on.
Make it short. Hello and welcome to the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 65. This week we turn the spotlight on Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused as our summer of teen movie spotlights continues. But before we do that, my name is Brett Summers and I'll be joined by...
Paul Hawkins.
Damien Hicks.
I like the way he said this week, and I am joined by, normally we say and as ever, but we've learned over these last few months that it's not always a given.
Nothing is guaranteed. But so it's been a little while with illnesses and COVIDs and heat playing a little part in our production issues, but we're back, we're bad, and we're mad. And what's been happening, guys? I'll start with you, Paul.
It's just been hot, hasn't it? I mean, let's be honest, most of the world or the Middle East and that part of the equator, they get these temperatures quite a lot. I was complaining about having a couple of crappy nights because it was 30 degrees in the daytime. But yeah, other than that, barbecue, that kind of stuff, and work, obviously. Nothing crazy. Not a crazy summer yet.
See what you did there. And Damien.
Same. It's too hot, but I'm not really complaining because the moment it goes cold again, I'll be moaning. So, I'm making the most of it. I've probably chosen the worst week to do landscape gardening, though.
Yeah.
To be fair, I am fucking knackered.
Is it landscape or are you just putting a patio down for it?
Whoa, all right.
Whoa.
No.
It's not really landscape, is it?
It's not.
I said it Well, I was actually
You didn't do the patio, someone else did it.
Yeah.
All you did is put some, shingle down.
I was going the serial killer route, to be honest. I wasn't even going on that bit. I was going to say, it keeps... you've ruined it now.
No, there's no one buried under the patio.
I had a whole bit then that was going to follow on, but you cut in with as if I'm insulting his manual labour and skills of gardening.
Yeah. Just today I moved 2 1-ton bags of stones
Yeah,
from the driveway
To be
all
fair,
the way to there.
that sounded like the Fast Show.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah.
Today I moved.
Today I will mostly be.
And the thing about it as well, it gets to a point and you think, I'll be able to drag that now. You try and lift it.
No, it's not happening.
Not moving.
You think just because you can see the bottom of the bag, you think you're there. You're not there.
I did find a little cheat of doing it though. So we did the first one with like mixture of wheelbarrows and buckets and all this kind of stuff. And then when we finished that one bag, I came up with an idea.
Ooh.
I covered the first bag with shingles and dragged that a lot quicker than a wheelbarrow and easier to do. And you can carry more.
Yeah, but I had to drag those stones across a stone driveway.
Yeah?
Didn't work. No, it just shredded the bag.
Lots of stones on this episode,
Yeah.
which kind of fits in later on, actually, ironically.
So I think all these fuckwits out there developing robotic lawnmowers and electric cars and robots that deliver Amazon packages should be working on a robotic wheelbarrow.
Hey, there's got to be one, isn't there?
Just when it gets to the weight
I
that
bet
is
Alan
suitable,
Titchmarsh has got
it
one.
just goes off when
Yeah.
you've programmed it to go, empties, comes back.
Like a
That's
big
what they
track.
should do. Yeah,
Big
the big track. That was cool.
And there's some
Can you imagine like 100 different big tracks going down your garden with them?
Carrying about 4 stones because that's all they can
I don't care. I'd pay to watch that.
halfway
Seriously.
down the battery runs out.
Yeah.
And like when it gets back to the bag, Emily just filling up the little trailers.
Yeah, with a little shovel.
I bet she'd enjoy that too.
I'm sure she would.
Oh, I'd love that. That would be better than watching a train set.
Tomorrow,
Oh,
arriving in this very studio stroke office
more
stroke bar.
stones.
No. The Knight Rider and Back to the Future Scale Electrics.
Sweet.
It's finally being delivered.
Where are you going to set it up?
Don't know, in here.
You're looking at this table where we record
No.
on.
That's it. I'll move the table.
It will be a distraction for the recording.
Yeah.
Although we may have many races that you'll be able to watch on our TikTok.
Yeah.
Place your bets now.
Yeah.
Buzz
But the problem is I have to just resist the urge to even open it until I've finished doing what I'm doing out there in the garden, because if I open it tomorrow when
Yeah,
it arrives, that's
you're
it.
gone.
I'm gone for the weekend.
I remember in the 80s as well, there was the... you obviously, it was a spin-off of the track cars, and you could get tracks and attach them to the wall, and you could race these spaceship-type things. You could do that in here.
Don't remember that.
No, I don't remember that one. I had a Jigsaw Hazard barn, and it had
Yeah,
like
I
a
had that.
ramp,
That
and you
was
put
cool.
like little things up and
Yeah.
little bales of hay, and then the car would go up the ramp and knock them out the way.
But not
and
only would
stuff.
it go through the back, but it would go through at an angle, like it does in the opening
and
credits.
then someone would get out and just dust
Yeah.
themselves off afterwards.
Although that does sound a lot like the 18 though, with the
That was like, it's the same bloke.
Yeah.
yeah.
Probably I forgot his name now. But anyway. Right. Has anyone watched anything, or have we just all been slaves to the grind?
I have.
Well, I can go first because I've only watched
Go on then, Damien.
literally
Yeah.
one thing of note,
If it's Gardener's World, I don't want to
No.
hear about it.
and I've forgotten. The boys. So I finished the boys.
Oh, finish the boys. And what did you think?
Underwhelmed because I
Oh,
just
really?
don't. Each episode was all right in its own merit, but the story is no further forward than it was at the start of the season.
Yeah, I would say it's almost
It's
to
like
me.
it was like one long filler episode of
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of the new series yet.
right.
Okay, without giving much, I would say like all the pieces are in place now, but it's been a series to do that, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. It's just this whole Homelander thing. I know that's the whole point of it is to try and destroy Homelander. I know that's obviously what's his name's goal and everything. And
Billy Butcher.
yeah, but I don't know. It just
I guess the problem is though, when they do destroy Homelander, it's kind of it.
yeah. That is kind of that's it.
Unless there's a next gen Homelander that comes out of the woodworks like his son.
Funny you should say that.
Yeah, but
No, but his son's good at the moment. I'm in season 2.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what's happened in season 3.
so, but it was just nothing was any. There was no nothing. You could almost skip. You could skip that entire season, bar maybe the last episode, and pick up when season 4 comes out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're right. That's good stuff. I mean, the Soldier Boy backstory was kind of the running thing of it, but like you say, it just got neatly cleaned up and put
Yeah,
away.
there wasn't, and there also really wasn't enough of that. They
No.
could have done a lot more flashbacks.
Well, especially with the people they had playing those characters.
Exactly. Yeah, I would have liked to have
Yeah.
seen like 3 episodes where it's just,
Or even
1984, and it just flashes
do
back.
a payback episode of
Yeah.
it, like the team. Yeah.
Have they done a musical yet?
No.
No.
That'll be in
Yes.
season. Oh, they have. Right.
Have they?
Well, there is a song and dance routine in episode 6. Frenchie and
Oh yeah,
what's
but
her
that's
name?
more.
It's not a musical episode like
yeah,
the Flash
yeah.
done, or
Yeah, it's not a full on.
but there is
it's not
there's a
like
musical
Glee.
number, a bit like
yeah.
How I Met Your Mother does every now and again.
And everyone's done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Okay, so that means they've literally got one season left because as soon as you start doing a musical in an episode
Oh
of
no,
the
I think
series,
there's
that's it.
some still way to go.
No.
But they've diverged so far off from the comic now. It'd be interesting to see where they go because the whole black noir thing. Although I'm not convinced. Earmuffs, Paul.
Well, you
Do
might as well
mind
say,
if I-
well, I'm going to forget. I've still got season
Okay,
2.
good
Some
point.
of season 2 to watch.
I'm not convinced he's dead because he can
Okay.
regenerate.
Oh, can he? I
So-
didn't know that.
I think so. Well, he
He
could.
can in the comics.
But in the comic, the biggest twist of it all in the comics is that it turns out that Black Noir is just a clone of Homelander when they take the mask off. And half the stuff, that's the big spoilers, everyone, sorry, if you haven't read the comic. But the whole thing in the comic is like Butcher, Homelander rapes Butcher's wife, and she has the baby, and she dies giving birth in the comic, and that's why he wants his revenge on him, and he hates him. But then when it actually comes out, it turns out none of it was Homelander. It's like Black Noir
Right.
pretended to be Homelander, and even Homelander doesn't know who he is under there. He's like the Voight insurance policy. So if Homelander goes mad, they've got their own one to do away with him. But they've kind of done that now.
Yeah, they've completely changed that.
Yeah, so, I mean, so that's. But what they might do, because I don't know. The other thing is Noir's a suit, so they might just put someone else in the suit and pretend he's still alive for the image, or whatever. And then well, when Homelander does get taken out in the comic, that's when things got a lot more interesting for Billy Butcher.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Because he becomes a lot more, once he's done that, what does he do next?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I feel it's like it's no further forward. There's nothing's really happened in this season.
But I know what you mean, though. But yeah, it was enjoyable.
And they did a lot for shock factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely. What's not been in a superhero film? Right, let's do that.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for. But I've seen that as well, so that's cool. What about yourself, Paul?
Okay, so I've been putting this off for a while, but there was literally pretty much nothing on. Well, that's a lie. I've been watching lots of stuff as well, so I could have gone back to some of the other things like The Boys. But Studio 666.
I'm not familiar with this one.
So this is the Foo Fighters spoof horror film. Have you not seen this?
No.
You've already put
Where have you been?
You've put me
pulled
off
the
already.
rug from out from under our feet.
You've put me off already, but carry on.
Yeah, no, so it's been out for a while.
Is Jack Black in it?
No,
What?
it's pretty much the band and like 4 or 5 different people doing cameos and all that kind of stuff. So this is basically Foo Fighters are really struggling for their next album, and the only way they can do it is by
Life imitates art.
going off and renting out a house. Just so happens that the house was haunted.
Do they have a talking dog?
No. And the previous
Sweet.
band that were there died in mysterious circumstances. So anyway, so it turns out that basically they're going to rise the devil by creating the I was going to almost said the best song in the world, but in essence the song that brings him back from the dead. Dave Grohl gets possessed and basically turns into a bit of a terrorizing beast. It was how I thought it would be from watching the trailer a few months ago. It's if we had a band and some money, or when we've often talked about we should make a film, it's pretty much like that, but they actually have a budget.
They got a budget to make it. Yeah.
It's quite funny in places. It's quite gory in places, and they do the gore quite well. They don't hold back. They've tried to make a decent slapstick horror film, and it kind of works as that. It's it's not a classic horror film, and it's not going to stand the test of time or anything. But it was nice as well, just seeing the band having a good time making a film, and the amount of times that Dave Grohl said when he was trying to get the band all G'd up, Pearl Jam high five, Pearl Jam high five, in a cool American voice though. If you wait till
if you're into that sort of thing,
and wait till it becomes free. I wouldn't pay money to watch it.
I don't know if I'll watch
did.
that, but I might watch it when it's on the next season of Shudder's Cursed Movies.
Yeah. But it was okay for what I thought it would be. Probably a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, because things that they do have a tendency to get a little bit self-indulgent, don't they? Like,
I don't think it was self-indulgent. It was literally, let's just make a fun movie.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. What about you, Summers?
I am still going to pipe on about how glorious the new season of The Orville is.
I have been watching some of that.
Oh, okay.
Well, the
But
new
I'm still
series.
I'm on just into season 2,
Oh, okay.
and it kills some time. Is the best I can say. It's not bad. It's not great.
What have you got up to?
Just the last one I watched was the Klingon guy. It was his.
It wouldn't be a Klingon.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has to go back to his home planet so he can take a piss.
Is that the one that gave birth to a girl with his partner?
No, that's season 1. So it's a
Different one.
different episode. But yeah, he's got.
What?
They only
Oh, no, but that's
urinate
what I mean.
once
Is
a
it the
year
same?
or
Is
something.
it the same guy?
What's
Oh, same guy. Yeah, sorry.
Has the robot dude done anything yet?
What do you mean done anything? He's almost a surrogate father to the Doctor's kids.
So
That's-
he
that's a bit
hasn't
weird,
had
wasn't
his episode yet.
No, that's right. Keep going. But I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, no, it's just doing really well, and it's out Star Trek in Star Trek. I say that every week.
Yep.
And
You should get a T-shirt with that printed on.
I'll probably get sued by both of them. But yeah, no, it just seems to be. There's already a campaign for a season 4, so I'm guessing.
I thought there was. So there's only 3 seasons, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason
season
I thought
3 is
there
the
was more
latest
than
one.
that.
That's on.
No, so I'm always
going-
catching
yeah.
up then. Almost catching up. Is that English?
And also, none of you guys would have seen it, but
No.
the Miss Marvel finale
No.
changed the face of the MCU.
I don't care.
How? Briefly.
Well,
Be as brief as
basically,
you can.
they were talking about her power. I won't go into the whole plot for him, but there's a bit at the end where the guy sort of says, well, actually, he said, when I've analysed it and how you can use your powers, he says, your DNA is not like the rest of your families. It appears to have somehow mutated.
All right.
And when he says that, you get the old X-Men little cartoon series over the top, like mixed in. So it's
But
like,
did we not already know that they were going to bring the X-Men in?
well, we know they're
MCU?
bringing them in, but we
Yeah.
didn't know how. And she's not actually an X-Men character, so that's upset a few people. But I was just excited that they dropped it in and brought it. I thought it was something different. Didn't
Yeah.
see it coming, and now it's like everyone's like having babies because they've actually. It's like one of those. No one said mutant before in an MCU film yet because obviously when Sony had it, you weren't allowed to. So now they've said it and dropped the mutant bomb, and
And is it?
it's all going crazy.
Did I
Or was it
dream this?
Fox?
Is it Taron Egerton that's been lined up to play Wolverine next?
He's going for. He's put himself forward for the role and making it quite clear that that's what he'd like to do.
He's got like 2 years of hell to bulk up. Then surely.
Yeah. Well, there's videos of him like lifting. Yeah, he's going for it, but too young. Wolverine should be the oldest one there. But that's a whole other.
He was
argument.
young once.
Well, he was, but like
I'm just
the
saying.
modern day. That's the whole point. You know, he's like the older. I mean, in his day, like a De Niro around '93 would have been a perfect Wolverine. But,
Right, I still like you.
But now he does adverts for Kia. So
Yeah, Jackman. I still think they could persuade Jackman to come back because
I don't know. He's lost a lot of weight, and I don't know whether he wants to go through the rigmarole of bulking up again. I think that was one of the reasons he got out of it.
Yeah, but it's just that I think the MCU payday will be a lot more than when he was doing it for Fox.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
You know, it's like being some films people actually like.
Yeah.
But we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, so that's a good. Oh, and I've seen Thor: Love and Thunder.
I didn't even know that was out yet.
It came out about 2 weeks ago.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
And yeah, it's not the best one.
is it better than?
So what number is that?
Is it better than the
Thor-
second
the
one?
Thor series.
Third one.
Yeah.
No, it's a good film, but it's another case of there's probably was it Takiti Watiti? I can never say his name. Sorry if I butchered it.
you
He
did.
said there's like a 4-hour cut of it, but
No, I heard that.
But he said director's cuts are always shit. He said there's a reason they're cut out.
Yeah.
But I get the impression it just feels like
bits have been cut out.
It just feels like you can put a bit more in there and a bit more in there, and it's trying to do too many things. I don't know if because Ragnarok came out of nowhere and everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing," and no one was expecting it to be. Now the anticipation and whatever is gone up for this, but yeah, no, it's good. Christian Bale is very good as the baddie, Gore the God Butcher. A new hero is introduced at the end who's not been in the MCU yet. I won't spoil that, but stick through the credits. There's lovely jokes all the way through it and stuff, which some are easy to spot, some aren't. And to be honest, I think Guns N' Roses made more money out of this movie than anyone. They're literally all over it, apart from not being in the film. Like, every other song is theirs.
Oh, really? So it's not just
there's like
Switch Out
posters.
of Mind?
No, there's posters on walls in bedrooms and T-shirts, and it's just like, yeah, I mean, fair play, but it was just like
Strange.
it was just really weird. It was almost like
Is that because he couldn't use Kate Bush anymore, so he just went Guns N' Roses?
it's like I don't know if they funded it or what. You know, it was just really weird. But
Yeah, just to get one up on Foo Fighters for doing Studio 666. It's like, fuck you, we're doing 4 films.
But yeah, so I think they made more money out of it than most people did. But again, it walks that line though, because you've got what I was worried about when I said the Jane Foster role of why she's 4. That is all touched upon. Some people think it skimmed over it a bit. Some people think it needs to be a bit more. It should have been more serious on it. The comedy stuff's there. Korg's in it again. You know,
Well, that's
the big
that's
rock dude.
him, isn't it?
Yeah, but but he's a great character. You see a lot of things. You go around the MCU quite a bit. Guardians of the Galaxy are in it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But
Out of 10,
I gave it a 7.
no, it's not
That's
too
not bad.
bad.
It's not. It's good enough.
As you said, I think the
It's
problem
good
with
to
this
watch.
is that Thor Ragnarok was just bloody brilliant.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, "Oh, now what are they going to do?" But I
Yeah.
still think if he brought out the 4 hour, I think
Of course you would.
a
You'd
longer one.
I'd
would
watch
do
it.
I just feel like it's, you know, I'm not campaigning to save the Watiti cut or anything like that, but you know, sometimes going longer can be good.
That's what she said. Anyway, so I've also, I think we were talking about those genres that has like a storyline that you really want to be good. People keep reinventing it or redoing it. Things like Alien. All love the idea of it. We all love the xenomorphs, all that kind of stuff. We're just waiting for the next good thing. There's a series coming up. Is it a series or a film? I can never remember.
There is supposed to be an Alien series, yeah.
Yeah, where they make it to Earth.
Yeah.
I'm really hopeful that's going to be
Yeah.
good. All that kind of good stuff.
Can't remember where that's going. Is it Paramount?
Probably.
I
think
thought
it's
it was.
Paramount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I decided to watch the new Resident Evil series on
Okay.
Netflix.
Oh, Raccoon City, and all that stuff. Wasn't it?
So, no, I think that's different. I think there's a new.
Oh,
I think,
new- yeah, I
think
know
there's
the
a
one you mean
Resident
anyway,
Evil
that's-
Raccoon City, which is a new film, but there's a series
Yeah.
Resident
Cool.
Evil
Yeah.
on.
Sorry
on
for
Netflix.
confusing the matter.
Yeah. So, what do we often say that things like Netflix do for series like this? Maybe turn it into like a teen drama. So a lot of this is actually about 2 sisters growing up and their relationship and getting older and
And
their
you're like,
relationship.
where are the zombies?
Yeah, there's hardly any zombies.
Will they be in it after a couple of episodes, though, or is it
No,
just...
well, they come in and out. Don't get me wrong, but it's more about the relationship between sisters and their father, who happens to work for the Umbrella Corporation. I just think they missed a trick.
Yeah, that sounds shit.
It is. It really is. I'm like 4 episodes in, and I'm just tempted never to go back. But there's this little thing in me saying, "Is it going to get better?" I don't think it will. And it's a real shame because they could have made. When I watched the trailer, it looked like, oh, there's going to be big beasts that have been mutated.
Well, they even did. So I saw a clip on YouTube or whatever of Times Square, and they've got a big holographic billboard poster of escaping from the cage and then climbing up building.
Yeah. No, there's a couple of set action sequences in first episode and second episode, but the rest of it is just relationship crap. But I'll carry on I'll take one for the team and report back if it's any good. The other ones that I've been watching really quickly: The Undeclared War on ITV with Simon Pegg.
Oh yeah.
This is all about the cyber crime, GHQ, fighting off a cyber war. It's all right. It's not brilliant.
What you'd expect from ITV.
And again, that has a tendency to be more about the lead protagonist relationship with her boyfriend and her girlfriend lover that just happens to work for the NSA, as opposed to the nuts and bolts about cyber warfare. There's just no need for it. Mention it or whatever, but don't pad a lot of the episode out with that. It's just not required. And my final quick mention, Damien, you're not going to be interested in this at all.
That's probably good because I'm trying to sort out my mic at the moment. It doesn't stop moving.
I did see you trying to do a Mr. Bean thing. The last one on Netflix as well is Arcane, League of Legends, which is a CGI series based on the game, I think, actually.
What's it about?
So it's basically set in a not dystopian but utopian future.
Ooh.
Just think steampunk CGI. So anyway, yeah, two sisters living basically on the streets with their gang.
This sounds like the one you just said.
I know, yeah, but these are fighting off other crews to basically survive on the streets. They happen to steal a shipment of booty, shall we say, from a professor or a doctor's house or flat, full of mystical objects and powerful objects, and they're basically on the run from guards. It's all right so far. I think I'm two episodes in. If you like that kind of not manga, but you know that kind of more futuristic kind of anime type stuff, then it's quite good. And the CGI is bloody amazing, which I know is not a reason to watch anything, but it's not a cartoon, Damien. It's a proper animated CGI series. But yeah, I'll feedback if that carries on being good. That's me done. Ow, boy.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much me done, I think. Most of the rest of it has just been going through the Star Trek stuff on Paramount, which is I'm enjoying Strange New Worlds more than Discovery at the moment still. And but yeah.
Have you watched any of Picard?
No, well, I've only watched season 1 of that. I keep forgetting that, but now I've got a bit of time. I might go through that. Because it's school holidays, yeah.
Yeah.
School's out for summers.
Dun, 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 yeah. And, yeah, so we will see. We will see. But, Damien, anything else? Any other
No,
bits
I've
and
been,
pieces?
whilst I was trying to sort my mic out, I've been trying to think if there's anything else I've watched. I must have done, but I genuinely can't remember.
That's right. It's now the spotlight shining on Dazed Confused this time. The Richard Linklater 1993 American sort of teen drama, coming of age film, whatever you want to call them these days. And wasn't the biggest hit when it came out at the box office.
Nope.
Didn't do much at all, but has since gone on to
It got my £4.75 back in 1993.
See, I didn't see it. I found it. Well, let's go on to our next bit. Our memories of it. So you saw it at the cinema?
Yeah, definitely. Because that's around the. I mean, I just pretty much used to rock up to the cinema and go, "I've seen that. Let's go and see that." And so I didn't know anything about it at the time, but yeah, it got my, like I say, £4.75 or whatever it cost. But it was definitely less than a £5 to go to the cinema back in 1993.
God, yeah.
And, yeah,
And that was with snacks on your bus fare home.
yeah, yeah, we definitely went by bus. I could drive in No, I couldn't drive in 93.
Okay, yeah, for me, it was one of those, I can't remember what, it was either Sky or Channel 4, one of those sort of films that was on about 1 o'clock in the morning that I had to then rush to videotape and then make everyone else watch it whenever you came around my house for a little while. Wasn't fixated at all.
No,
It was
not
like,
the
you must
slightest.
see this film. Have you heard of this film? What? You must watch it. And then lend it to people and stuff. And yeah, so it was good. Paul?
Yeah, I had no memory of it. I saw the title.
I would have made you watch this at some point.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
as I said, I have no memory of it. I thought it was some Cheech and Chong thing, to be honest, with the title. And then I started watching it, and every now and again it would be, oh, I do remember this. I've seen this, and that's going to happen to him. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I watched it. It could have been round yours.
Well, let's
once.
think back. 93. That's
The year we left school.
The year we left school. The year probably drank more and smoked
exactly.
more.
I probably watched
illicit
around Summer's
substances
house, and then we
than
went to
ever have done
Mayfield or
since.
something.
Yeah.
Or Thursdays.
Yeah,
The popular nightclub.
yeah. But as I said,
underage.
I thought it was from the title some Cheech and Chong thing.
Oh, see, even I think that's an important thing to take in, actually, at the time when this came out and where we were, because, the world was in front of us. We were in the same position these guys were in, kind
Yeah.
of. And looking at pictures of them now, it kind of turned out the same for all of us. So, but right, so what's it about then? Well, it's May the 28th, 1976, and it's the last day of school at Lee High School in Austin, Texas. And
God, they get out early then for
yeah,
their
I
summer
know.
break, don't they?
well, they've got to go to summer camps and things.
Yeah,
haven't they?
that's the teaching gig that you need, Summers.
I'm not being a teacher at a school in Texas. I'm not being nowhere near a school in Texas.
You got open carry in Texas.
Yeah.
or whatever
Actually,
it's
you
called.
kind of look like you could be.
Yeah, but I don't want to get shot. I like going to work to actually work, not dodge
Oh,
bullets.
actually, yeah, maybe you could be a security guard more.
Done that this week. Had to hold the railings up. So the next year's seniors are getting ready, and in something that does get commented on in the film as well, they are getting ready by making wooden paddles to beat up the new freshmen kids that will be starting the senior school.
See, this is one of the things that I loved about that era in our history and before, is that if you were an older kid, you could do that. I remember at school in the last days when we were, in similar age, there was always, well, it's the eldest that are leaving now. They normally go round terrorising the kids. If you see some of the fifth years run, nothing really happens.
I got suspended for covering first year in silly string.
Yeah, but it was harmless.
It's harmless.
Yeah.
Well, not now. They'd need a safe space and 6 years of
But that's my
counselling.
point. Yeah, you won't be able to do anything like that
Didn't
because
we steal
you'd
all
end
the
up
fire
in
bells as well?
Yeah.
prison.
Yeah. People did. Some other people.
No, not us. Someone else
Bigger
stole the
boys.
fire.
Bigger
bells.
boys.
See, that was the royal we, wasn't it? Someone in the
Thank you, Miss
year.
Patson.
I think I've still got one somewhere, apparently. Yeah, so anyway, in Days of Confused, we follow lots of people, but the main kind of guy we follow is Randall Floyd, known to his friends as Pink, played by Jason London. And he's the star quarterback of the football team, and he could be brilliant, but he hangs around with these dodgy friends and that, and the school coaches kind of making them sign a pledge that they won't jeopardize the goal of a championship season, and they can't do drinking, and they can't do the drugs, and they can't rock and roll all night and party every day type thing. And that is basically the main thin thread of a plot.
I'd say
that
there is no
runs
plot to this
through it,
film.
really, that he wants. No, he's making a big deal about signing it and saying, like, not going to bow down to the man type thing. And all the other players are like, we've just signed it. We're not going to do it. Just sign it and get over it. And and so basically you've got that going on, and just loads of hazing of freshman boys getting paddled, and freshman girls getting sort of covered in everything, really.
Yeah.
Powder, eggs,
Ketchup,
mustard. Yeah. Thoughts on the opening, gentlemen?
Trying to remember the opening now. I only watched
Well,
it
that's
last
that
night.
sort of bit. Just that, like the kids trying to escape school, and I like the bit where they ask the teacher if they can leave a couple of minutes early.
it's
and
like-
he
no,
just
he's like,
just
no.
laughing at him.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
So like, I remember. I'll tell you what my sergeant told me,
yeah.
which is 50 of you are
going
going
in.
out.
oh yeah,
Only 25 of you are going to come back.
Come back.
See, and that's the kind of teacher you
Yeah.
want. He knows
Hell
what's
yeah.
going down in the
That's
hood.
proper old school teaching,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's like, no, you what you should have said is learn and maybe put something down the back of your trousers. Why didn't they do that?
Yeah.
I would have. A few textbooks down there. Try to hide them. I don't know. Something like that. Or maybe I'd have created a metal butt
Yeah.
in design and technology
Yeah.
or something, Go out there, my Batman butt. Paddle this, mother.
So we've got
This is your future, Affleck.
Yeah.
Look, my Batman butt.
we've got, as Damien said, there isn't really. I think it's his biggest strength, probably, that there isn't really a plot. You're just following these kids going around doing stuff, but there's sort of different groups. So as I say, we've got Jason London as Pink, or Randall Pink Floyd. His girlfriend is played by Joey Lauren Adams, called Simone. You got those two sort of go around. Then you've got the big party house that's going to happen at Kevin Pickford's house, played by Sean Andrews, and his girlfriend Michelle Burrows, the Mila Jovovich, before she was really famous. And reading up on this, doing some research, they actually ran off and got married during the filming.
Really?
Those two, yeah. But it got annulled by her mum later on because she wasn't old enough. But it was in Texas, so you know. A huge standout career role for Rory Cochrane as Slater. Check you later.
Oh yeah.
Adam Goldberg pops up as Mike Newhouse. Anthony Rapp, who's in Star Trek Discovery now, as Tony. You got Marissa Rabishi as Cynthia, the girl with the ginger afro.
Yeah.
And her brother is Giovanni Rabishi, and she's married to Beck in real life now, so she's done all right. As you said, you've got, and the other one we kind of follow is Wiley Wiggins, who plays Mitch Kramer, who's the young sort of freshman who's going to get paddled to death.
He's like the guy off Almost Famous. He's that
very
kind of
similar.
character.
Yeah. And then Ben Affleck pops up, Parker Posey, and Matthew McConaughey as Wooderson as well comes up later on. More about that later. But yeah, so we've got these different gangs. You're sort of following them around their different antics at school and what they're getting up to on the last day of term. And any favourite characters, any memorable moments for you guys?
Well, so far, I mean, the nice thing about it is the lead guy, who's the jock. You know,
Pink.
Yeah. He's not an arse. And we see this when he tells the guy, take your dues, when he gets his paddle session going on, and then he takes him under his wing. It's like, oh, that's quite nice. It's like the what they got over in the States, the Big Brother program or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, I'll take him under the wing. And the little bit where he drops him off at his house afterwards, said, "What are you doing later? Do you want to come to a party?" And the look in the little guy's eyes, it's like, what? Really? yeah, I'm there.
I do like it as well because he got his mates as well. They he's left them behind now.
Yeah,
he's a lot cooler.
Yeah, he's not at the community hall disco.
Yeah, with the Dungeons and Dragons.
Although to be fair,
dudes.
if I was that fat kid, I wouldn't have left with the up.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
Lights off. I'm staying here.
I like that. I was getting some.
Yeah.
He literally just did ditch her though, didn't he?
Yeah, he's like, back in a minute. And he doesn't go back. Like, not.
No chance.
I'd have stayed.
To be fair, I'd have ditched you guys. It's
Yeah.
like, we're going to a party. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right. See ya.
Fine here.
Yeah. Got my own party going on here.
EYC, yeah?
Yeah, so we've also got Ben Affleck as O'Banion, who's the senior that had to repeat a year because he failed because he's Bowler Cat's just a complete arsehole, really.
Yeah.
And he seems to be like the one not likable person.
He's got a dark side.
Yeah, he's just a bit mean and a bit of a bully, really.
Maybe he lost his parents
and
some tragic shooting.
Down an alleyway.
And his mate was the school janitor. No, he was. He's chasing the kids around, and at one point he nearly gets them, but then the mum comes out with a gun and shoots her away, which was quite funny. And then, but then they get them after a baseball game, which leads on to what Paul was just saying, and then. Yeah, we're just sort of following these kids cruising around. It becomes nighttime. They're all getting ready to go out and cruise around the town and hang around.
I did notice that was
the Emporium, which is like the snooker hall kind of place.
That was a very different thing compared to us, as they were all driving around in their cars, cruising, as opposed to us that would have been walking around, trying to find some random pub.
Like 4 hours later, we find somewhere.
Or just
we
hanging
get
out
a
at the
bus
bus
to the
stop.
wrong place.
Yeah, the hop in. Still remember that. So you've got all these different things going on. You're just dropping in and out, following these groups around. You've also got, as I say, you've got the kind of the free sort of, I guess, the
Nerds.
the nerds.
Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah,
guys.
the nerds
Yeah.
sort of guys. Which
Hellfire
are,
Club of
Yeah.
Yeah.
1976, wherever it was.
Yeah, Mike, Anthony Goldberg, Adam Goldberg, sorry, Tony, Anthony Rapp, and Cynthia, who are just kind of driving around, going on about how they're going to go crazy, but they don't know how to go crazy, and sort of over philosophizing everything.
And he's tired of being this coiled,
Yeah.
repressed dude.
And then he wants to dance.
Yeah.
So I liked his little speech. It's like, I wanted to be a lawyer and help the little people, but I was in the post office queue, and it's like, I don't like people, but that's me. I identified with that. The moment he said that, it's like, yep, that's me. I don't like people.
And again, he
Just
went
get in the way.
on to, well, he was the first Adam Goldberg, wasn't he? Then we had the other Adam Goldberg from the Goldbergs. That's why calls himself the other Adam Goldberg. But he ended up, he did a bit in Friends, didn't he? He was in quite a few. Wasn't he like Joey's weird roommate in Friends for a little while? And things like
Yeah,
that?
or Chandler, one of the
Sort
other.
of Chandler, yeah. I remember he was in that.
He popped up in that. He's in Saving Private Ryan, I
That's
think.
what I say, he's done, yeah, he's gone on to some big stuff in it. And Anthony Rapp, as I say, currently Star Trek Discovery's Doctor. And again, Cynthia Marisha Rabishi married Beck. We don't really do much after that, do you?
Don't need to do if
That's,
you marry
that's
Beck. to
cool
be fair.
enough.
Yeah.
Whilst her brother chases a talking teddy bear. But yeah, so we got all these guys driving around, and this is when Mitch gets picked up after his beating. We meet David Wooderson, the guy who's played by Matthew McConaughey, who's technically probably in his 30s,
Yeah.
but is
Yeah.
still socialising with the high school students, which is one of the better lines of the film for the character, if not somewhat creepy, is when he says something about, that's what I like about these high school chicks. I keep getting older and they stay the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that guy who's still hanging around with the younger guys. And
We kind of all know one of those people in our time, don't we?
oh yeah, I think it's me now.
Well, I didn't say that.
I don't think that's where he was going.
No, not really.
I mean, yeah, you do hang around with lots of teenagers, but that is your job.
Yeah, that's true.
And he does it for the right motives.
I don't have a
people.
packet of fags in my sleeve either, rolled up. But yeah, Matthew McConaughey, he plays it very well. And there is, I forgot who the guy was now, but if you have a look, it's easy to YouTube. But he did a music video for somebody as Wooderson again, like 20 years later. And he
Yeah.
got all the gear out, and he looks like it's just the same.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh, but he-
scary.
Plays the character really well.
Yeah, but he's just playing Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
isn't he? Well, not in the creepy sort of weird way like that,
Yeah.
but he's just, that was the first film I think I ever saw him in, and everything after that has just been versions of that character,
Yeah.
really. But yeah, but again, it does show you that sort of social network, and also the sort of the small town thing. We were talking a lot about it with in the John Hughes stuff of like where it's all in Shermer, and you get the idea of the goals and where people move on to and stuff. And it's the same in this town. You can see like later on, like of when one of the policemen was someone they went to school with, and one of the different people sort of pop up and through, and some people obviously just hang around there, and he has stayed there hanging around and not really done much with himself. But yeah, so you get an idea of the different social networkings and social standings. What's the word I'm looking for? Hierarchy, classes, social classes of the town in Texas. One of my favourite bits at the Emporium is when they give Mitch the money to go and get the beer. And we've all had that moment where we've got served. I want a keg of beer.
Yeah.
And then he spouts out what he heard somebody saying earlier on about, like, getting a job, keeps the money in my pocket.
Yeah.
And that's when his friends come back into it as he's coming out with the beers. And like, what, you're in there? And because he's in the Emporium with the cool kids. And then, I think what happens after that? Then it kind of moves to just different people swapping cars around, smashing post boxes. And again, it is like nothing happens, but lots of stuff does happen. But it is that typical. I think people.
It just manages to encapsulate
Yeah,
one
it's
moment
like a
in
time
time.
capsule, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you get all those moments that you can relate to, and there's no tricky plot and B plot, or you're just following these kids around. There are little threads with them, don't get me wrong, and different things. Like the three nerds eventually decide to go to the party, but unfortunately the party got called off because the beer man turned up early.
Yeah.
And the dad clicked and just cancelled their trip away. So then they end up going to the moon tower. Which for us was made for
that sounds like a Pink Floyd.
That's the obelisk, isn't it?
Yeah. They put a bar around the obelisk. No, put a fence
Put a fence around the
obelisk.
obelisk. How did you get to the bar then?
Yeah.
I'll never forget.
Anyone listening around the world, you'll have no clue what that
No
means.
clue what we're talking about.
But yeah, what vibes were you getting off of Paul? Were we liking it at this point? We were not like
Yeah. And as I said, at that point, I realised, he's going to get beaten up later, isn't he? I remember that bit. Where did I watch this? I had a lot of those vibes. I half expected the footballer to actually turn around and say he wanted to be a dancer instead of going and playing at college or something.
Yeah.
So, that kind of vibe, which we've seen in other films before. But yeah. He doesn't really go off on any big. You don't need to think about it. You're not worried about subplots. You're not worried about, what's that random guy doing at the bar? Why is he winking like in a David Lynch film? It's just you just get absorbed into different characters and the play, and it reminds you of some of the social groups that we had when we were their age.
Yeah, Damien.
Same as, but I've got to be honest. I was a little bit bored watching it now. It really chimed with me back in '93, but I was bored. But
Okay.
I don't mean that to actually take anything away from the film. It's just a 45-year-old fat bloke with no hair. It doesn't relate to me anymore. But I think had I gone in there never seeing it and not having any memory of it, I think I would have probably turned it off.
And maybe that's why I didn't. Because I couldn't remember.
You couldn't remember, but it was giving
Yeah.
you some sort of weird deja vu thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
But as I say, there's actually nothing wrong with it, and it's not through it being a bad film. It's just, like I say, I don't think.
I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again.
No.
I've watched it at least twice.
I watched it loads of times.
I
back
think it's
in
one
the
of those
day.
films every few years you just give it a watch again.
I don't know. I don't know
Don't
if I
think I
will.
would.
Not because I say it's not bad. It's not. I still give it like 8 or 9 out of 10. But I was bored watching it yesterday. Might be because I've seen it so many times. So even though it's been a long time since I've seen it,
Yeah.
every bit I know this next bit.
Yeah.
I know this next bit, and that kind of works for me all right when it's a comedy, even though it's not a serious film. It's not a laugh out loud comedy either, is it? It's just a
Yeah, chuckle
chuckle, yeah.
sometimes.
So, but with a comedy or something, I'll sit and you actually laugh before you even get to the bit because you know it's coming.
Yeah.
This isn't laugh out loud funny, so it was just I know the next bit, and I was kind of watching it thinking, if
God,
this was
why
made
did we
now,
choose this film?
No, I was like, if this was made now, Ben Affleck's character would take it too far,
Yeah.
and there'd be a conflict between Pink and him, or something like that, or
Yep.
the
Well, that's the thing.
Even the mum might even shoot
you
him
only
at
get
the
the
doorstep.
one day, don't you? I was always like, and I still hold out for it now that because Linklater does do that. Like he's done that with all those Sunrise films. I want him to come back, and I want this town in Texas 30 years later or whatever it is now. I don't know add it up because I'm scared. But just get them back now, and we'll see how their lives turned out. But I like to think Ben Affleck's probably like the asshole sheriff now because he's gone nowhere of his career or life, and he's just got a job there and doing that. And I don't know, Mitch might have moved away, won't become like an IT consultant or something, and just a different thing. Do like a reunion type thing. Cause,
I'd just like to know they all made it to the Aerosmith concert.
well,
that,
yeah,
that would be
as
me.
well. And I just like, and Matthew McConaughey's still outside the Emporium.
Yeah,
He's probably running it.
yeah. He just now drives a Tesla.
Yeah, and just stuff like that. But one bit I did notice watching it this time that I missed before is a lot of the scenes when they're at the Moonlight Tower or the Moon Tower, and it's the party. Is after Mike does his bit where he gets threatened by Clint the Greaser, And he's like, "Oh, I'm just fed up," and all that. And then he's like, he has this theory, doesn't he, that if he gets one punch in,
Yeah.
everyone will split it up.
Yeah.
Because no
But
one likes
that's like the
ones that-
whole hold me back type thing.
exactly. But before he does that bit, when he goes mad and says, "Right, I'm going to go and do it," and there's different bits. If you watch it, he's just like, there's one bit where someone's talking, he's just in the background by a tree, and you can just sort of see him like psyching himself up. And just one bit, he's just walking backwards and forward, pacing really frantically in the background. You can just see. So this whole night, that one little bit where he's walked in has got him more and more wound out, and then he just ends up just steaming over there and smacking the guy, and then no one runs in.
And unfortunately, one punch doesn't do the job.
No.
And he gets pummeled. But his mate Tony gets a snog
Yeah.
with Sabrina, the young freshman girl who we see get bullied by Parker Posey for most of the time she's on screen. So he done all right, and I think everyone and I forgot the girl's name. Cynthia ends up with Wooderson's phone number because he really likes the colour red on him, as he put it. And and they're all going to go and get Aerosmith tickets in the morning, and then they end up on the football field near the end, sort of doing a
Alive and kicking.
sort of like a retrospect and taking in their life and high as kites, and then they get busted by the police.
See, at least we had like the itching, so we could go and sit on the riverbank at like 4 or 5 in the morning and then just see the sunrise on. That's better than a
And it
football
was kind of
field.
hidden as well.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's it. And then it ends up with Pink saying to the coaches, if he does play, it'll be on his terms and all that
screws
sort of
up.
thing.
I mean, maybe that's where I get my rebellious stuff from. Is I wouldn't sign that either. Fuck you. I'll play.
Do you want me to play or not?
Yeah.
And then they go off to get their Aerosmith tickets. And Mitch scored as well. Then he got the girl from the blonde girl from the year above him.
Yep.
And she drops him home as well. Because everyone drives in America.
Yeah.
it would
His
seem.
sister's friend.
Yeah. And so he goes home. He's happy listening. He got his one. What was it? His mum says, "This is your one get out of jail free card."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, to be honest, that did kind of take me back to when I'd rock up when the sun had come up. And just the next day, we just like fall asleep for a few hours, and you wake up, and then, we didn't
ready to go all over again.
Yeah, we didn't go off and get Aerosmith tickets, but it's like,
No, we got therapy tickets. And and that is it. It's a collection of different characters. It's a collection of different social scenes all going together. Yeah, it is funny in places. It is serious in places. But it's just like a snapshot of a moment in time, captured very well, I think, by Richard Linklater. I'd love to see him do another one, though, because he'd done all that before Sunrise and before Sunset and all that, where he filmed them over like 20 years. So go back and make another one of these.
Yeah, and I think as Damien said, the problem, if it was a new director, new kind of script based on, that kind of storyline nowadays, there would have to be, something untoward, or someone dies of
some
a drug
sort of conflict
overdose,
or some sort of drama that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I don't want to take anything away from it when I say I was bored, but I was bored. But I don't really think that's a reflection on how good the film is. I think it's because I've seen it so many times, and now I'm 30 years older. It doesn't chime.
Well, it was that time, wasn't it? Like I say, we were the same age. It was the crazy world out there. We were going to change the world. The world was at our feet. Now we're just cynical bastards.
Yeah, we're sat in a garage talking shit for
changing the world for our listeners. That's right.
What's that Frank Turner quote? Was it I'm young enough to be all pissed off, but I'm old enough to be jaded.
Yeah.
And it's but I mean, if you go through that cast though, I mean, if they did remake it, it cost a lot more money because apparently a third of the budget on this went on the music.
On the music, yeah.
Which is not surprising because it is an awesome soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah, and I completely forgot to mention any of that when it kicks off with Aerosmith.
Yeah, Sweet Emotion.
Yeah. Why didn't we mention any of the soundtrack when we were talking about the film?
Yeah, the soundtrack is a big part of it. I mean, and it is very much. We were talking the other week about what was the George Lucas one where they just drive around.
American Graffiti.
Yeah, American Graffiti. I mean, it's in
not
that
too
style,
dissimilar from
but
that.
to me, this is a lot better because it's like, I don't know, the music.
Well, you could argue, it's what, set 20 years or so after American Graffiti, so it's almost this sounds fucking right up my own arse, but it's like another evolution of the teenager, insofar as in American Graffiti, it's set in the 50s, so it's not long after the war. It's the birth of the teenager. 20 years later, this is what teenagers are now, stoned all the time and getting pissed.
Yeah.
Which
And
is still
nowadays,
happening 20
nowadays
years
it'd
later.
just be on social media anyway.
Yeah.
That'll be on Fortnite.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want to go out to a party? No, I'm just WhatsApp me.
I would do,
whatever.
but Fortnite is a new shield. There's a new skin coming out on Fortnite.
Yeah.
But a great cast. The soundtrack was awesome, and the movie, as I say, it didn't make much when it came out, but it has sort of recouped over the years as a cult classic. Should it be watched? What's our verdict then? Because we're saying we're bored of it now. But
No.
do you think you
I'm
should-
not bored of it.
He's not
Damien,
It's just
No,
me that's
no,
I
I'm
was
just
bored.
saying. But would you say though that someone should still watch it though?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it,
I think at an age group that you can relate to that, from the age of about 15 to your 20s, I reckon you'd get something
But
out of
the
it.
only thing is that we were 90s, and for me, a lot of the storylines are very similar.
Yeah, but what we've just said, teenagers aren't like that anymore. So
Yeah, but also people in their 40s that may not have seen it before, they still go and
true,
watch
they
it.
might get something out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it helped us. All the music in it was the music we were into, and let's not beat around the bush. We were smoking whenever we got the chance to, and going to the pubs or going to the offie and going down the field whenever we got the chance to. So they're doing exactly what we were doing at that time.
Yeah.
So if you have that mindset, you'll probably get something out of it.
And even if you're the younger generation, that's how your parents used to live.
Yeah.
when they were all
That's
age.
what
So whenever they
Gen
tell
Z
you off,
used to do.
whenever they tell you off for being 5 minutes late, we were doing a lot worse.
so if you do have a dad that hangs around outside the local pool hall, just keep living. All right. But yeah, no, I think you're right. It is a great film. As I say, maybe you need to be in that bit to get the vibe of it, but if you're going in looking for a plot or you need something to happen, it's probably not the film
No,
for you.
exactly.
It's not one where you need a notebook.
Yeah,
just to keep
you
notes.
yeah, and, but I think it deserves to be on your Blu-ray shelf or whatever. You
It was
call
on my
these
Blu-ray
days.
shelf.
Yeah,
Back in the day when I had a Blu-ray shelf.
but yeah, I think it deserves its place there. And if you're listening, Mr. Linklater, do a follow-up, please.
Do one set in Britain and we'll be in it. It's a lot cheaper than Affleck.
Yeah, it'd just be confused. Oh, it's about podcasters. No, yeah. So again, we're gonna just give it a quick quick rating then. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I still give it an 8.
Yeah,
think-
yeah, high 8 for what it is.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But it is, it's. I think he took a lot of risks as a director because I think he trusted a young cast, and again, just the trying to get it all to weave across and thread through, and as a what plot there is, I think does work. Apparently, there are some deleted scenes around somewhere where they steal the statues and things like that. There was a whole bit about the statues that kind of got played down, where they just all we see is them get painted as Kiss, and then what's not wrong with that? Gene Simmons actually bought those.
Did he really?
Himself in the end because he thought they were cool. And I want to say,
Now he just buys Bitcoin.
yeah, I want to say he then auctioned them off later on for a charity or something. But at one point, Gene Simmons did own those statues.
Did he auction them off for the Simmons Foundation?
Yeah, probably. But all right. Any other thoughts, comments before we wrap it up?
No, just give it a go. It's easy-going film where you don't need to think.
And enjoy the music. Go for the ride.
Yeah, very much so.
Yep.
I was tempted just to download the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I think some of it is on our playlist.
Yeah, it's bound to
from
be.
the
The
when
Cult
we did,
Faction. Now that's what Cult Faction calls. Soundtracks or
yeah,
something.
like that. Yeah, check the episode out. Check out the playlist. It's all on cultfaction.com. The
Although-
mothership of our operations.
Although maybe we need to modify some of those playlists because a lot of the stuff that I came up with, I don't
Yeah.
actually want to listen
No,
to.
Bugsy Malone.
Yeah, I just
You have it on all the time.
no.
Pumping out your car when you're driving up the road.
I just used to fancy Jodie Foster. Little did I know.
Well, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as I say, that about wraps us up this week then. Go and check out Days Are Confused. Our teen summer
Odyssey.
Our teen summer season will continue next week. Do we know what it is? Are
Yeah,
you
we
gonna
do
pick
know what it
one?
is.
Oh, go
Next
on.
week is Empire Records.
Oh, so we follow Rory Cochrane along.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Empire Records. Get watching it, get it sorted, and then come back
And then you'll know
listen
what we're
to us,
talking about.
and you'll know what's going down in the hood, yo. Right then, so you can follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, all the different social medias. You can check us out at cultfaction.com.
The
And if-
mothership.
The mothership. And if you would like to drop us a line with your thoughts of what we got right, what we got wrong, and what films we should be checking out, they need to email us at.
Cultfactionpodcast@mail.com.
So
I think.
I
Yeah.
would say
Or send
then,
us a message.
Gus to not explain something.
I don't know. I don't remember us.
Maybe because
We might have had a conversation ourselves and not recorded it.
we
but
were giggling too much probably.
but yeah. So
Anyway,
the
we've
spotlight.
knocked him off his stroke.